am Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot.
Welcome back, everyone. This is my Guardians of the Galaxy I Am Groot trailer for the new series that's premiering August 10th. There's a bunch of Easter eggs here. I'll explain where it fits in the timeline, what's going on, how it connects with all the other Guardians of the Galaxy stuff coming up, like Guardians of the Galaxy 3. If you're brand new to the channel, I will be doing videos for the episodes. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. They're going to be dropping all the episodes on August 10th because it's basically like a series of 5 shorts, so I think it's going to amount to like a full hour of content between all the 5 shorts. And it'll be sort of like the appetizer to She-Hulk Episode 1, which will be dropping the week after that on August 17th. She-Hulk is going to be 9 episodes, though. That'll be like a regular series. I Am Groot is like a series of shorts, just to be clear. But as you can tell, it's all centered around Baby Groot. It's not Teenage Groot, the current version of the character, so it takes place a little bit earlier in the timeline. Marvel confirmed that it's meant to take place between the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 after they defeated Ego the Living Planet in The Sovereign, but before the post-credit scene at the very end where they reveal he's grown into Teenage Groot, he's cussing at Star-Lord, playing the video game, just trashing his room. And as you can see, some of this is meant to take place on the Ravager's ship, the Eclector, so apparently that ship is still around after Yondu blew it up during their escape, like you see it a little bit during the series of post-credit scenes where they're on it. So they escape, Yondu blows up part of it, and then they just apparently repair it after the fact. But like I just did a video for the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer that they released at Comic-Con. They didn't release it publicly, so I'll link it below in the description so you can learn what happened during that. But in the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer, like after the events of Thor Love and Thunder in the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, the younger 2014 Gamora is revealed to have become the new leader of the Ravagers since the end of Avengers Endgame. And it looks like a slightly upgraded version of the Eclector that they took with them in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. They did confirm that Vin Diesel came back to do the voice of Baby Groot for all the episodes. The way they do his voice for Baby Groot, though, is that he just does it normally and then they modulate it so that it sounds like a baby speaking, but it's still Vin Diesel's. They also confirmed that Bradley Cooper came to do the voice of Rocket during the series, so Rocket is going to be part of the series. I'm assuming that not all the Guardians will be on it, just because it's a bunch of shorts, and it's mostly about Groot's adventures separate from the Guardians. Like it's Groot running around getting into trouble like Baby's Day Out style, but it's Groot in a bunch of different episodes. At least in most of the episodes, that's kind of what it seems like is going on, like he's by himself just getting into all kinds of trouble. I love the way they open the trailer too, like making it sound like a really huge thing, obviously because Groot is so tiny and the characters that he sees at the beginning of the trailer are even tinier. But they open the trailer with him on this foreign planet meeting this new race of characters that all treat him sort of like a Gulliver's Travels kind of way where he's this interloper and they think that he's this big threat. And it's just meant to be this big funny moment with them marshaling all these forces, like all these jetpacks, all these weapons to try and kill him, and it barely even scratches him. Like he's afraid of hurting them and afraid of getting hurt, but they can barely even scratch him. And then it turns out that they all just want some food, so they just all start eating from the leaf and everybody's happy. They make a joke about how he's a hero of few words because he literally only says, I am Groot. The way that James Gunn explained it though, and they kind of explained this in the comics, is that he's part of the race called Flora Colossus, and they do have their own language that they speak to each other. So when he's talking to Rocket, the other Guardians of the Galaxy characters, other Marvel characters, he is speaking a bunch of different types of sentences, a bunch of different words. It just comes out of his mouth as I am Groot. So it's not like Groot is trying to say, I am Groot over and over and over again. It just sounds that way coming out of his mouth. He's actually speaking regular sentences. It looks like some of the episodes will take place on this planet because you see Groot having a couple different adventures, doing a couple different things while the Guardians of the Galaxy ship is parked there. You see Groot get himself into all kinds of trouble across a couple different types of scenes. Him with the feather boa, him on the spaceship wearing the Christmas tree pajamas, like they actually have tiny little pajamas that they give to him made up to look like Christmas trees. Because he is literally a tree. I think what's going on here where he's dancing with this other version of Groot is this is in an episode where he takes a bath. Like this just looks like a water creation. This episode on that foreign planet where you see him wearing a bunch of different types of clothes, using his own body and the leaves to create the clothes, I think is meant to be from the same episode specifically, just because it's him creating a bunch of different clothes from himself, literally. Episode 1 is titled Magnum Opus, and it says, inside the Eclector's quadrant, Baby Groot gathers various items to draw the Guardians of the Galaxy, later causing an explosion inside one of the ship's rooms. You see him causing an explosion here in the trailer. It seems like it's from that episode. Rocket finds Baby Groot trying to fix a blown-up hole and receives the drawing. Another explosion causes Rocket to be almost sucked out of the ship, only to be saved by Baby Groot. Sounds like Bradley Cooper is going to be in a lot of that episode. Episode 2 is titled Groot Takes a Bath, where it seems like a lot of this footage comes from. Taking a bath allows Groot to create a variety of costumes out of his leaves, like I said here, angering a nearby animal. Then there's 3 more shorts right after that, but they're all releasing them together, so like you watch them back to back, so it's almost like just watching an hour-long single episode with a bunch of different parts. There's a bunch of different footage of him on the Guardians of the Galaxy ship interacting with a bonsai tree, trying to feed it some fruit. So like I said, this is meant to take place before the events of that Guardians of the Galaxy 2 post-credit scene where he's grown into teenage Groot. And just to explain their timeline so far in the MCU, because we just got the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer with the oldest version of Groot that we've seen so far. In that post-credit scene, he grew to teenage Groot, then mostly stayed the same age through the events of Avengers Infinity War, which was just like a very short time jump later, like it was less than a year later. He was snapped, so he didn't age at all when Avengers Endgame in the final battle picked up, and he was only a little bit older during the events of Thor Love and Thunder, which took place like a couple years after the end of Avengers Endgame. He seemed a tiny bit older and a little bit more mature, but he's still very much teenage, young version of Groot. Then during the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer at Comic-Con, which I just did a video for, he seemingly had his own version of a Hulk out moment like we saw in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie where he grew to full adult Groot size, like at the end of the first Guardians film where he hulks out and all of his parts grow super huge. It seems like in the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 movie, that'll be the moment where he grows into full Alpha Groot size. Vin Diesel called him Alpha Groot during the movie, like the most version of Groot, so I think they've been saving him growing back to full size for like that big moment. Either to be like Groot Smash or We Are Smash. It's in this moment where he and Peter Quill are fighting back to back. Peter Quill's wearing his comic book accurate Ravagers uniform. Notice they have the chest symbols in the first movie, so they have the same chest symbols, and they're treating these classic comic book uniforms like the new blue Ravagers uniforms. But they're based on the original comic book versions from Annihilation Conquest, and that was the comic book run where this current version of the Guardians roster came together, but James Gunn kind of changed the plot of how they actually came together. Also, Adam Warlock fought with the team during Annihilation Conquest that period. At his back, Groot is fighting a bunch of people, but because he doesn't use traditional blasters or weapons the same way, he just grows his body parts to fight people. He has a kind of Groot version of a Hulk out where he gets super huge. It even zooms on his face, and it seems like his face is getting bigger and getting more mature, just growing bigger in general. Even after the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, we were kind of waiting for this tiny baby version of Groot to grow to full-size Groot, because in the comics, the way they explain it is a little bit different. In the comics, he has the ability to regrow his entire body from like a single twig. So for instance, in the Guardians of the Galaxy comic, he gets blown up. Rocket puts like a single Groot splinter in a potted plant, and it eventually regrows Groot back to what he used to be. But the way that James Gunn explained this new version of Groot that we've been seeing in the last couple of movies is that this Groot, at the end of the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie who sacrifices himself, is dead. Like, he didn't come back. The baby version of Groot is like the offspring of this version of Groot. And during Avengers Endgame, James Gunn actually revealed what he was saying when Groot was getting snapped here. Like, you see him slowly disappearing. He said, during this scene, Groot is crying out "Father" to Rocket, as Rocket is sort of freaking out watching everybody disappear around him. So teenage Groot here, this version of Groot really does think of Rocket as his father. Which is why a lot of people are theorizing that because so much of the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 story is about Rocket's bad dad, so to speak, the High Evolutionary, and it deals with a lot of his origin story, that Rocket will be the one to sacrifice himself for the rest of the team during the movie. James Gunn did say that it would be the last Marvel movie with this roster of the Guardians of the Galaxy, so like some people will die off, so post all your theories about who that's going to be. The other real big thing that's happening that they didn't release a trailer for later this year is going to be the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, and James Gunn did say that that would be like a prequel to Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It'll be live action, it's inspired, as you guessed, by the Star Wars Holiday Special, but with the Guardians of the Galaxy characters. It'll be live action, it'll be treated as canon, and it'll sort of explain what's happening with the team after they left Thor in Thor Love and Thunder, but before the events of Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Because they're releasing all the I Am Groot shorts on the same day and they're all meant to be relatively short, I'll probably just do Easter eggs for the entire series in a single video. But we will get some more She-Hulk trailers in the next couple of weeks, and obviously I'll be doing videos for all the She-Hulk episodes too. There's a bunch of other stuff happening. There were a bunch of other big Comic-Con announcements that I still haven't had time to do videos for, so if you have any special requests, just write them below in the comments. Everyone click here for my Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer video and Easter eggs, and click here for my brand new Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.